This is somebody I spent 12 years of my life with. And now I have to watch his life being taken for nothing.
A month after Devontae Mitchell died outside of the Hyatt in downtown Milwaukee, the medical examiner has officially ruled his death a homicide. The cause? Restraint asphyxia and the effects of cocaine and meth.
He wanted to leave. He was trying to leave and they wouldn't let him.
Newly released video inside the hotel shows us the moments leading up to Mitchell's death by strangulation. Inside the hotel, you can see Mitchell running into the gift shop, then down a hallway into the women's bathroom. He's taken out of the bathroom and being escorted by a security guard who then abruptly turns and punches him.
A man lay face down on the concrete outside a Milwaukee hotel, motionless, silent, and pinned beneath the weight of 4 grown men. His hands were restrained, his legs were trapped, and his final word captured on bystanders' phones was a desperate, trembling please. Seconds later, his body stopped moving altogether. 8 to 9 minutes. That's how long he was held down. Face pressed into the pavement, lungs fighting for air, knees and elbows digging into his back and neck. 8 to 9 minutes until the struggle ended. Because he stopped breathing. This wasn't a police arrest. This wasn't a hostage situation. This wasn't even a violent crime scene. It happened in front of a hotel where families checked in for weddings and business travelers rolled suitcases across the lobby. And the man who died that afternoon was 43-year-old Devontae Mitchell. Before we go further, tell me in the comments, do you believe private security should face the same accountability as police when someone dies under their restraint? I'm reading every response. Because today, we're breaking down exactly how a man walked into a hotel alive and was dragged out in a body bag minutes later. Devontae wasn't killed by a gun. He wasn't stabbed. He wasn't chased down. He died because untrained hotel staff, not police, not crisis professionals, used levels of force they should never have been authorized to use. Punches, kicks, knees on his back and neck, improvised weapons, and a complete disregard for the basic rule every responder should know. When someone is face down and stops moving, you stop, but they didn't. And that failure wasn't just human error. It was systemic, a lack of de-escalation training, zero mental health crisis awareness, a culture that treats distressed black men as threats, not patients, and a justice system that, as you'll see, barely held anyone accountable. This story is not just about 4 men outside a hotel. It's about a nationwide pattern where institutions fail the very people they're supposed to protect. In this episode of The Crime Anatomy, you're going to learn what exactly happened inside the women's restroom that triggered staff intervention, how hotel employees escalated from concern to dragging to striking to lethal restraint, what the medical examiner officially concluded about Devontae's final moments, and why it shocked Milwaukee, how 4 men pleaded guilty, yet almost none of them served real prison time, why his family, his wife, his mother, his children lead weekly protests demanding justice, and what must change in hotels, security companies, and the law so no one else dies the way he did. If you're new here, welcome to The Crime Anatomy. We don't just tell the story. We dissect how systems fail people and how these tragedies can be prevented. Now let's step back. Not far, just enough to understand the man behind the headlines. Before his name was in national news, before activists chanted for accountability outside Milwaukee's courthouse, Devontae Mitchell was simply family. Born in 1981, raised in Milwaukee, he grew up in a close-knit household where loyalty ran deep. His family called him a big teddy bear, a quiet giant with a soft heart. He loved cooking, he loved music, and he loved making the people around him laugh, turning ordinary nights into moments his relatives still replay today. He was a father of 2, a son and a daughter who adored him. Despite personal struggles, he stayed present in their lives, showing up for birthdays, school events, and long talks on tough days. He was also a husband, married to Deasia Harmon. She and his siblings, Naisha, Samantha, and others, often spoke about how deeply connected he was to them. His mother describes him as her protector, the one who stepped in during hard times, the one who kept family grounded. And that's why his death hit Milwaukee like a punch to the chest, not just because of how he died, but because of who they lost. June 30th, 2024, was an ordinary summer afternoon in downtown Milwaukee, the kind where the Hyatt Regency's revolving doors never stop turning. Guests checking in, families rolling suitcases on polished floors, conference badges, vacationers, business travelers, a snapshot of everyday calm. And into that calm walked Devontae Mitchell. He wasn't brandishing a weapon. He wasn't confronting anyone. He wasn't chasing or threatening staff. But according to multiple witness accounts and surveillance footage, he was distressed, disoriented, moving in a way that suggested fear more than aggression. Moments after entering the lobby, Devontae stepped into the women's restroom. 2 women were inside. What happened next is consistent across all official reports. They told investigators he attempted to lock the door while they were still in the stall area. They became frightened. They alerted staff. This was the moment the entire incident pivoted. The moment where calm, trained de-escalation should have entered the picture. Instead, panic stepped in. Security guard Brandon LaDaniel Turner was the first to respond. Reports say he forcefully pulled Devontae out of the restroom, physically dragging him through the lobby. A hotel guest even stepped in to help Turner restrain him. This is where the situation could have, and should have, stopped long enough for assessment. Was Devontae armed? There's no report saying he was. Was he attempting to attack someone? No evidence he did. Was he having a mental health or substance crisis that required medical attention? Signs strongly suggested distress. But none of these questions were asked. Instead, Turner escalated from extraction to full force removal, and more hotel staff joined in. 3 additional employees entered the scene. 1. Todd Allen Erickson, hotel's security manager 2. Devin W. Johnson Carson, front desk agent 3. Herbert T. Williamson, bellman. None of these men were police officers. None were medical professionals. None were trained crisis responders. But in seconds, they became a coordinated force, dragging one man toward the hotel driveway. According to court documents and video evidence, their involvement wasn't limited to simply guiding him outside. It escalated into violence. At least 6 punches, 1 kick, strikes using objects, including what appeared to be a collapsible baton or broom handle, hands gripping his arms, legs, and shoulders. Physical force turning into complete domination. Witnesses described Devontae trying to pull away, stumbling, frantic, more like someone trapped than someone fighting. And then in one abrupt motion visible on surveillance footage, the group forced him face down onto the concrete just outside the hotel's front entrance. This is where the fatal countdown begins. Face down, chest compressed, multiple bodies on top of them. This position, called prone restraint, is well known in law enforcement, medical, and crisis response fields as extremely dangerous. It restricts airflow. It collapses the chest. It prevents the lungs from expanding. Add weight on the back, and breathing becomes nearly impossible. And Devontae Mitchell, according to the medical examiner, was morbidly obese, living with pre-existing heart disease, testing positive for cocaine and methamphetamine, substances that raise heart strain. These factors should have prompted extreme caution, but they prompted nothing. Instead, the restraint intensified. Turner held Devontae's legs. Erickson kept pressure on his back. Williamson and Johnson Carson held his shoulders and arms. A bystander even helped hold him down at one point, and witnesses recorded what they heard. Devontae crying out, "Please, I'm sorry," and a guard repeatedly ordering him, "Stay down, stop fighting." But the video shows something unmistakable. Devontae was not fighting. He was struggling to breathe. This wasn't a brawl. It was a suffocation in slow motion. From the moment Devontae hit the ground, the restraint continued for 8 to 9 uninterrupted minutes. That's longer than the runtime of some short films, longer than the average 911 response time in many cities, long enough for irreversible damage to occur. 8 to 9 minutes of pressure, panic, strikes, verbal commands, pleading, and a man pinned to concrete with no ability to expand his chest. Bystander video shows passers-by watching, concerned, some pleading with staff to ease off or stop. But the employees continued. And then, as countless restraint deaths show us happens in this exact position, something changed. The movement slowed. His arms went slack. His legs stopped kicking. His voice fell silent. But the staff did not immediately disengage. That delay, seconds that feel like hours to a person without oxygen, only compounded the tragedy. And when they finally rolled him over, it was too late. By the time Milwaukee police and emergency responders arrived, they found Devante unresponsive, lying exactly where staff had pinned him. Attempts were made to revive him, but they failed. At 4:11 p.m., he was pronounced dead. A man who walked into a hotel lobby alive was declared dead on its driveway less than an hour later. The Milwaukee County Medical Examiner conducted the autopsy. The official findings: cause of death, restraint asphyxia. He died because he was held face down in a way that prevented him from breathing. Contributing factors: morbid obesity, heart disease, cocaine, and methamphetamine intoxication. But the ruling was still homicide, because regardless of substances or health conditions, none of that pinned him down. People did. This was preventable, avoidable, and as family and advocates argued, utterly unnecessary. But what came next shocked the public almost as much as the death itself. Before we continue, let me ask you, do you believe that private security and hotel staff should be legally barred from using prone restraints, just like many police departments have banned them? Comment your thoughts below. Your engagement helps these stories reach the people who need to hear them most. Now let's move into the legal aftermath, the lenient sentences, and the fight for justice that continues to this day. When the medical examiner concluded that Devante Mitchell died from restraint asphyxia, the public already suspected what the autopsy confirmed. This wasn't a medical accident. It was a preventable death caused by human choices. Choices made by people entrusted with authority inside a major American hotel. Choices that continued not just during the restraint, but in what came next. Because if you think the story ends with a homicide ruling, it doesn't. This is where the system, the one that should protect the living and honor the dead, fails for a second time. Within days of the incident, the Hyatt Regency's management company, a third-party operator, not Hyatt Corporate, fired all 4 employees involved in restraining Devante Mitchell. Public outrage grew quickly. Video clips circulated across local networks and social media. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump announced he was representing the family. Milwaukee residents held vigils and protests. Community leaders demanded criminal charges. And on July 5, 2024, Milwaukee police made a significant move. They referred felony murder charges with underlying count of battery against all 4 employees. It seemed for a moment like accountability might finally be coming. But the path from charges to justice is never as straightforward as it seems. Over the next year, plea negotiations unfolded. One by one, the defendants made deals. Todd Allen Erickson, security manager, pled guilty to being a party to felony murder. The judge sentenced him to 2 years in prison but stayed the sentence, meaning he served 0 actual prison time. He was given 2 years probation instead. Brandon LaDaniel Turner, security guard, pled guilty to related charges, received a 1-year sentence, also stayed, resulting in probation. Herbert T. Williamson Bellman, sentenced to 10 days in jail, but with credit for time served. He walked free. Devin W. Johnson Carson, front desk agent, sentenced to 4 days with credit, effectively no time. A man was killed. 4 men were involved. The death was ruled homicide, and yet none of them served meaningful prison time. This outcome ignited a second wave of outrage, not just from activists, but from ordinary citizens who watched the footage and wondered how this could happen in a country that claims to value justice. In August 2024, the family reached a confidential settlement with the management company that ran the Hyatt Regency Milwaukee. There was no public admission of wrongdoing, no sweeping reform, no corporate reckoning. A check was written, a legal document was signed, and officially, the hotel moved on. But Devante's family didn't move on. They couldn't. Because for them, this wasn't just a civil case. It wasn't just footage playing on the news. It wasn't just a headline. It was a father, a son, a husband, and a brother taken from them violently and unnecessarily. Every Sunday, his family holds demonstrations. Every interview, they repeat his name. Every march, they carry his picture. They do it because the system didn't deliver justice. They do it to make sure his story isn't buried under legal paperwork. On July 11, 2024, Milwaukee gathered for Devontae S.'s funeral at the Holy Redeemer Institutional Church of God in Christ. Civil rights leader Al Sharpton delivered the eulogy. He handed checks to support the mothers of Devontae S.'s 2 children, a gesture that showed the world. This man did not die alone, and his children will not grow up without support. His sister-in-law spoke publicly. She said the video made him look like they treated him like an animal. His mother wept. His wife stood in grief. His children watched their father's memorial on a screen instead of seeing him walk through the door again. It was a day of mourning, but also a day of resolve, because his family promised one thing: they would not let his death be ignored.
To embarrass him like that, to destroy his character, to just take away his dignity, that was so wrong of him to do.
It is just awful. On the video footage, you will see Devontae trying to run for his life, and you will see him being beaten, punched, kicked.
Mitchell bathroom, it was 2 ladies in there. He attempted to lock the door. One of the ladies were able to slide right on out without being touched or harmed. You know, they both said, like he looked like he was scared.
Mitchell's family believes the 43-year-old may have been suffering from a mental health episode. Protesters say they will continue to take to the streets chanting Devontae Mitchell's name until they get criminal charges in his death investigation.
Devontae Mitchell's death forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth. In America, lethal restraint hasn't just been a policing problem. It's become a cultural one. When hotel employees, not officers, not trained crisis responders, feel empowered to punch, kick, and pin a distressed man face down for nearly 9 minutes, it reveals a system that has normalized force as a first response. It reveals how implicit bias can turn distress into perceived danger, especially when the person in crisis is a black man. It reveals how private security, often with minimal training and oversight, is allowed to act like unregulated law enforcement. And perhaps most painfully, it reveals how little accountability exists when a black life is cut short, even when a medical examiner rules the death a homicide. Devontae S.'s case is not an outlier. It's a warning, a reminder that until force is replaced with training and fear replaced with recognition of humanity, people in crisis will continue to die under knees, fists, and assumptions. When the videos of Devontae S.'s final moments spread across Milwaukee, thousands saw the same thing. A man calling out, trying to breathe, trying to survive, as 4 untrained staff members pressed the life out of him. But his family saw more than that. They saw the man who cooked big holiday meals, the man who danced in the living room, the man who played music too loud on Sunday mornings, the man who called his mother just to check in, the man who hugged his children with an embrace they'll never feel again. His death created headlines, but his life created memories that no news report can capture. And as they fight for justice, they honor the man. He was gentle, warm, artistic, loving. They show up every week because they know something America doesn't always want to admit. If we stop speaking their names, the system wins. If we stop demanding change, the deaths continue. If we stop caring, nothing gets better. This case isn't just about a hotel's failure. It's about the price communities pay when force is used in place of training, when fear replaces compassion, and when a man in crisis is treated as a threat instead of someone who needed help. Devontae S.'s children will grow up with questions. His mother will grow old with heartbreak. His sister and cousins will carry memories that both warm them and haunt them. If you believe Devontae Mitchell deserved better, and if you believe stories like his need to be seen, heard, share this video and comment his name below. This has been The Crime Anatomy. We document the failures so we can build the fixes. If this story affected you, take a moment. Like it, talk about it. Let's start conversations that save lives. Subscribe for more in-depth investigations. Turn on notifications and share your thoughts in the comments. His life mattered. His name matters. And together, we make sure the world never looks away.